Okay, if we could have your attention, please. We are now joined by our third place finisher, Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 Mountain Dew Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. This was Dale's best all-star finish since runner-up in 2002. So Dale, congratulations on a great finish, and just talk us through your race tonight.
Yeah, we started out right around 10th and ran there for most of the night. Just real hard to pass. The middle and the top didn't get competitive as the bottom was. So as cool as it is outside and the track temp staying low like that, that bottom's going to remain pretty quick, and so it was hard to. You saw some guys using the top or the middle in the afternoon today, but I couldn't really get it to work unless somebody was really struggling in front of me. But it's pretty good strategy by Greg. I don't even remember what he did, but somehow or another we ended up in the top 5. And I don't know how we passed all them people, but once I got toward the front, the car started obviously driving better in the cleaner air. And right before the last segment, right at the end of the second segment, I thought we had a great car. Not as good as the 42 and the 75, but I thought we had a really good car, much better car than we did the last segment. The last segment, we made a couple adjustments to try to help our car take off a little better and just go on that short run, but it didn't really handle well. So we got tight. Immediately on the first lap of the last segment, the car was pushing, so I knew we were going to struggle to be able to capitalize on our position to win the race, but we ended up finishing okay. And for our team, it's a good step in the right direction to get more competitive. A lot was made about the comments I made in the podcast on Monday, and I just want the team to succeed, and really like the crew and Greg, and think we can do it. We did it last year. We started this year off really awesome, and hit a little rough patch, but this week was a great opportunity for us to learn, and I think we did. We had about 80% of the setup on the car was new stuff, so some stuff we hadn't really ran, and a lot of different directions that are outside the box for us and what we were competitive with earlier in the year. So I hope Greg learned a lot tonight. We didn't get a lot of practice, so we had to learn as much as we could in the race, and I think we learned some stuff. So next weekend it'll be great to be able to get some practice and actually tune on the car a little bit more.
Okay, we'll now open it up for questions for Dale. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start with Bob and then go to Jenna.
Bob Pockris, ESPN, and NASCAR kind of wanted to change the format to try to increase excitement. And I mean, did you feel like increased excitement? There seemed to be a lot of confusion out there about exactly how things would work, and then with only 2 cars on old tires on that last.
Wasn't much to, yeah. Wasn't, I think that the intent was really, really positive, and the ideas were great. But I think the simpler we make it, the easier it is to follow, and you just have to worry about rooting for your guy. So I was pretty confused right up until it was 13 laps to go, and then I knew, well, we're racing from here to the end, and this is all the normal rules. But everything before that was really I was out of my element. But NASCAR did a good job making sure, even though all the pitting was confusing, and how the lap cars were pitting with the leaders, and people weren't really where they were supposed to be. NASCAR did make sure all the lineups were correct before we went back to green. So you can't really you can't complain about that too much. It was just an unorthodox way of doing it. I don't know, and I think they ran into some scenarios tonight that they didn't really anticipate, and got caught off guard. I think the 20 obviously not pitting, however that worked out. That threw them for a loop, and everybody was confused from that moment on.
Okay, Jenna.
Jennifer, AP. Dale, what would you think if the All-Star race became a race of innovation and you guys just raced whatever you brought to the track?
Well, I don't know. We probably wouldn't pass too much because we'd all be wide open. Not passing? I said we wouldn't pass too much because we would all be full throttle. I just think they ought to go back to the original formats that they started with that are simple and make the cars race better. You know, gimmicks and all that stuff, trying to trick up the race is going down the wrong path. The way to make the racing exciting is to make the cars exciting.
Okay, do we have any questions from the press box?
No questions.
Okay. Any additional questions for Dale? Okay, over here to Jim.
JimMutterMotorsport.com. Along those lines, the changes that were implemented, could you tell from the driver's seat, did they have much effect in this race on the racing in general?
There was a lot of, yeah, I mean, we gained some track position somehow. You know, all the mandatory stops during the segments, then the mandatory stops in between the segments. Somehow or another, Greg did some magic and got us into the top 5. Guys were struggling, and I don't know. You know, it came down to the 22 and the 42. That was pretty exciting, and I don't think that had anything to do with any format. So that was just 2 guys going at it, and that's what you really want.
What about the downforce, side force stuff? Could you tell anything?
Oh, well, you know, I think that taking the skew out of the housing and limiting the toe and doing things like that will certainly slow down the mid-corner speed a little bit, and there will be a little more off-throttle time. And I think that anytime we can get more off-throttle time, there'll be more opportunities to outdrive a guy into the corner, beat a guy down in the corner, or drive up to a guy's bumper in the corner and get him loose or move him out of the way, or however you need to do it. And you know, you saw the 22, he could get right up to that 42. Man, if we were running the 14 or 15 package, that 42 could have went wherever the 22 was going and kept him about 10 car lengths behind him the whole time. He'd have never had to worry about it. So the fact that the 22 can drive up there right to him and the 42 can't do anything about it, we're going down the right direction with all that stuff. Yes, sir.
Any final questions for Dale? All right, Dale, thanks for coming in. Enjoy your
Thank you,
Sunday.
guys.